Good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Board of Health is being operated by a hybrid format under Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by telephone by accessing by number 224-501-3412 and access code 236-529-341, or the public can join via a computer at the link provided on the town's website. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the proposed agenda. As a preliminary matter, my name is Eric Otteson, Chairman of the Board of Health. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons participating on the agenda and participating remotely are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Kara Westerman.
Aye.
And Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
Town officials and employees participating, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jordan Brusso.
Aye.
Darlene Coyle.
Present.
And Roxana Kennedy.
Aye.
All right. Please note that each vote will be taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. And this meeting is also being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. Are there any participants on this meeting joining us remotely? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the meeting to order. First on the agenda, we have approval of minutes on March 17th.
We actually have April 16th minutes in your packet.
Okay.
So we
April
will, yeah, we can
Confirm those.
do those tonight, and we will bring the remaining next to the next.
Members, any questions regarding the meetings? Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for April 16th, 2025.
And there's a second. And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman.
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
Eric Otteson, aye. Minutes are passed. Accepted. All right, agenda items. We have a 6 o'clock hearing for 5 Jerome Ave, temporary housing unfit for human habitation. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
Make a motion to open the hearing for unfit for human habitation at 5 Jerome Ave in Auburn, Mass. It is now 6:03.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of opening the hearing signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman.
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
And Eric Otteson, aye. Hearing is now open. Ms. Coyle.
Thank you. So the hearing tonight, it's a public hearing for a property that the Board of Health was notified about approximately 2.5, 3 weeks ago. The Board of Health was contacted in regards to an occupant living in RV camper at this property address. This property address, just for recognition of where this is located in town. This is right on the Auburn-Worcester line, so down by Southbridge Street, where you come in from Worcester into Auburn. The camper houses a elderly gentleman. And the health staff responded to the concern that there was somebody living in this RV camper. An inspection was done by our assistant health director and health inspector. So Jordan and Tim had gone out, met the occupant, and observed the conditions. The order that you have before you is a recognition of what the health code violations that were observed at the time. So they are outlined in the order that's dated July 24th. The order identifies that the occupant has no running water. Electricity at the time was provided through like a temporary means, extension cord. And the, because it's a camper trailer, there's no permanent sewer connection. The camper trailer has what you would think of a trailer for like a temporary means. However, during the investigation process and site visit, we did understand that the occupant has been living in this RV for some time, in the years, about 12 plus years. Ms. Brusso was present for that inspection. I would like to have her describe what she saw, because she was there. She had briefed me when she came back. We discussed the concerns, and a lot has happened since that initial visit. And we have we've issued this order to the property owner because we believe that this temporary housing is not allowed under the Board of Health. We have concerns for the resident that is living in this RV. We would ask that the board, through your process and questions, we would like to identify to you the concerns of this visit. Jordan has taken a handful of photos that she will show you as part of her explanation. But really what we are looking for is for the board to consider that this RV camper is not a permanent means for housing. Although it has existed there for a long time, we don't believe that this is something that should continue without having some understanding of what could be done in order to make this a safer situation. I will also point out that since this initial visit and when the order was issued, conditions have changed since that time, so the occupant no longer has electricity. It's our understanding that the property owner has disconnected electricity to the RV. So you have a copy of the housing order that Jordan and I prepared. And we know that you'll have a lot of questions, but I would like for Jordan to give her firsthand account.
Sure. So I'd like to pass this iPad around. I have a few photos that I'd like to share with you guys of the RV. So myself and our health inspector, Tim Pratt, went and conducted an initial site visit to the property. We were able to speak with the occupant, who confirmed that he has been living at this location for about 12 years, since 2012, I believe. And he did confirm that there is no water, no running water, and no sewer connection. He also confirmed that his RV is connected to the business dwelling with an extension cord for electricity. He has a small mini fridge, as you can see in the photos, in the RV, and he has several gallons of water that he uses for drinking, of course, as well as washing himself and washing his clothes. He does not have regular, consistent transportation available to him. He has to rely on third party for rides to the grocery store, medical appointments, things like that. He also is identifying that there are some health concerns that he has. So, based on our findings, we created a housing order that confirmed that there are no, there's no water, there is no sewer, and the extension cord was connected, supplying a couple of lights, the mini fridge, and I think a fan that was in the RV. As far as I'm being told, the RV does not work, it's not drivable, and it has not moved since it arrived several years ago. We have been in constant communication with the occupant. We've been checking in on him through the recent heat waves last week, and again every day this week. We were notified that the power was cut off earlier this week, and I have been checking in on him every day. He does have a cell phone, and he has been picking it up, and we have been able to give him some extra charge when we go visit him with our vehicles. We just plug it into the car. So limited means, but we are certainly trying to keep him connected and available to reach out if there was an emergency or if there anything else changed.
And if I can also add, Jordan has spent a good amount of time connecting this resident to Elder Services. So that connection has happened. Elder Services is aware of this gentleman, and he is plugged in. We have offered him other services that we have in town, and he seems to be doing the best he could for the situation, but he does have at least that awareness that services are available. Elder Services does make their own connection, and certainly we're making more of a awareness, while he's been without power.
Thank you. Any board members have, actually, anyone else in the audience wish to be heard regarding the hearing at all?
Yes. First of all, my attorney is waiting
Sure.
through the phone. My name is Vin Lee. I am the property owner of 1048 Southbridge Street, 5 Jerome Ave, and 1 Southbridge Street. That falls under pretty much one property. Mr. Moore?
I'm the owner of Timbuktu, in the building that he was plugged into for his electricity.
So, let me share my side of the story, I guess, unless my attorney, I guess he was waiting on the phone to be coming in.
He's
I'm
trying to.
sorry, is he trying to come
Yes,
right
he's
now?
on, he said he's on the waiting he said he called in, he was waiting. Did they start? Let me know. He said, I'm waiting.
Yes,
I am waiting. So,
we have started.
We don't see him in the,
Yeah, it would pop up. Has he tried the phone?
he went through the link that he went through and showed, they don't see you. I'm texting him right now.
Maybe what we can do
We
is
can,
phone call him.
Yeah,
in?
we can have him
Sure.
phone in.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do.
Oh, okay, because we
Alright.
don't see him waiting.
Yeah, I saw that on there. I was looking
Oh,
at that.
okay.
Yeah, they,
If,
I'm just going again.
so
Okay.
you want me to give you his phone number?
we'll need his phone number. yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, it's 978
978
835
835
9364. Yeah, it just says I'm in Zoom. It says waiting to start, but he said okay, so you can call.
Okay,
Yeah,
and I'm
so
sorry, what's his name, sir?
Jared Scarpacci, Jarrett. Scarpacci is SCARPACI.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm not,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if he wants to.
All right, let me just see if, just let him know I'm gonna try to call.
I told him.
Nothing here.
Jared.
Hi, Jared, this is Darlene Coyle, calling from the town of Auburn. How are you?
Good. How are you? So I was on that global go-to meeting. It just said that I was waiting in the room.
Okay, we don't actually see you, we don't see you waiting in the room. Are
Hold
you,
on a sec.
go ahead.
I'll do. I'm going to put in the access code one more time here and see if you can see me now.
Okay. You can hear me clearly, right, Jared?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. And do you need the access code, Jared?
I think he had it through the email.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, when I go in that room, it just says waiting in that room.
Okay. Okay, I don't see it on this end, so I will,
Oh, did it say two people now?
I think
No,
that's
doesn't
the laptop.
Oh, okay.
okay. If you are comfortable, speaking through this verbal connection, we can certainly, have the chair recognize you.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Great. So, Mr. Lee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you wanted to be heard. Would you like to speak through your attorney, or would you want to speak through yourself?
He's on the phone, so I can let my attorney pretty much speak on my behalf. And
Sir, you're going to speak on behalf of Mr. Lee. Can I get your name? This is Eric Goddess. I'm the chairman of the board.
Hi, how are you? My name is Jared Scarpese. I'm representing Ben Lee, who is the DVL Realty LLC.
Okay. So he had mentioned that he wanted to be heard on the matter. Just to bring you up to speed, the board was just briefed and saw some pictures regarding the property and had time to review the order as set forth by the Director of Public Health. What do you have to say on the matter?
So, I mean, from what I got on the phone yesterday, I think her name is Jordan. I was speaking with her, and they were going to condemn the entire property, which... How would that be possible if the property is a commercial property and they're going to condemn it solely for unfit for human habitation? The problem is that there should be no humans habitating on the property, for one. Two is that habitation is for residential units or residential property. This is a commercial property.
Okay, hold on. We'll ask Ms. Brusso to give a to his question.
Yes, that is true. So the property that we are citing is 5 Jerome Ave in Auburn. So understanding that we are being informed and are confirming that there is temporary housing at the property, it's pertaining specifically to this RV. However, it's an RV business. There should not be temporary housing is not allowed in the housing code, and therefore we are wanting to ensure that the entire property of 5 Jerome is not habitated by in any form of residence under the housing code, because temporary housing is prohibited.
Okay.
Correct, but 5 Jerome Ave is a commercial zoned property. So how would you condemn property for habitation when the property is commercial? I could see you saying, take this RV off the property, but condemning the entire property for unfit human habitation, it doesn't jive in this sense, because this is not a residential property.
Jared, this is Darlene Coyle. I'm the health director. So this is a situation obviously unusual in the fact that we do not typically see this where you have a camper that somebody's residing in on a commercial property. The fact that we are issuing an order for 5 Jerome Ave, I understand your point. This is a commercial property. This is something that we're saying for this particular RV, we are asking the board to consider that this is unfit for human habitation, but also recognizing, so we do not want somebody living in a trailer temporarily without a safe situation. You don't have permission to do that on this property. Your commercial property for your client, that you operate a business there, that's under your purview for what those laws are. We are specifically talking about 5 Jerome Ave as having the existence of temporary housing there that has not been approved by the Board of Health.
Correct. So my question would be is that on your order, you're not condemning his entire commercial property.
We're saying that you cannot have people living there on this property. So unless you are saying that there's other people living in RVs on this property, I'm not aware that this commercial business has other occupants in other RVs. Is that correct?
You're 100% correct. My thing would be is that your order should strictly be pertaining to this one RV situation, not the whole entire 5 Jerome.
It is identified as this RV. So we are identifying the RV for sanitary conditions and temporary housing at 5 Jerome Ave. So
Okay.
I am aware that there is one occupant in one RV at this property that Ms. Brusso and Mr. Pratt observed. Now, if there are, obviously there's other RVs at this property because it is an RV business. I want to be clear. We do not want people living in RVs on a commercial property.
No. That's clear. I just wanted to make sure that the order didn't blanket all of 5 Jerome Ave operating as a commercial business. I just wanted the order to make sure that it's strictly pointed at this one direct RV situation.
So again, I would say we're not addressing your commercial business and the fact saying you can't operate your business. We're saying that you cannot have temporary housing and people living in these RVs at 5 Jerome Ave.
Nope, that's all I wanted to hear. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So are we making it clear that you're condemning that RV and not 5 Jerome Ave? I still haven't heard that clarification from you.
So condemnation is not specific to it's not structurally unsound. The property is identifying that that this property, 5 Jerome Ave,
Yeah.
is not suitable for human habitation.
We agree with that. Like, nobody's disagreeing with that, including my attorney. I am asking, and my attorney keeps going in circles about this, I think we still haven't got a clarification on this. On that property back there, there's like 20 or 30 RVs on 5 Jerome Ave. We actually share an easement with you guys because you have the water pump back there, okay? What I am asking for is, they are asking for the condemning of 5 Jerome Ave, which is about 1.5 acres to 2 acres. So clarification is, my attorney and I, and Mr. Warren, we fully agree with this. This RV should be moved and this Mr. Hill should be moved. None of us are fighting or asking this. My attorney and I, when he said to me they're trying to condemn the whole 5 Jerome Ave, that means Mr. Warren, my tenant, can't operate back there then. And if you are saying that you're not trying to stop us from doing business, then you can't technically condemn 5 Jerome Ave.
So let me stop you. So Mr. Is it Scorpisi? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Correct.
You did, so you, if I heard you correctly, after Ms. Coyle had just stated to you, you had said, thank you, that's all I wanted to hear. You were
No.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with what your order is going to be. I mean, obviously I will have questions once your order is written, but if what she just said is going to be strictly written in your order, then I'm fine with that.
Okay.
If it goes outside of that, then obviously this will be appealable and we'll meet you at another venue. But at this point in time, what she just said, I'm fine with that.
So did you just hear what your attorney said?
Yes,
as
so
far as
Jared,
being attorney
just to
that?
clarify, they're saying that they can condemn 5 Jerome Ave.
Well, then I'll talk to you after.
Okay, all right, fair
I'll
enough.
talk to you.
Okay, all right, okay. So I'll talk to him afterward, but if he's satisfied with it, then yeah, I'm good with that.
And that was my interpretation when he said that. That's why I wanted to make that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, yeah, you want to clarify, same thing,
Okay.
right. I'm still a little confused, but I'll talk to him afterwards on that, yeah.
And sir, did you want to be heard at all? I mean, you're here. I wasn't sure if you wanted to speak at all.
Well, I didn't want, the only thing that I'm considering is the fact that they think that there's a possibility of other people living there, and there's nobody else there.
We welcome.
All of the RVs are there for repairs, they're not there for people to live in until they get them back from us. That one particular one, well, it was just a different story with
Right.
him, he was kind of in a tough spot.
So I guess I have some questions regarding that.
Yeah.
So how long has he been on that property? And I guess first of all, to Miss Coyle, and how long has he been on the property?
He reported to us since 2012, I believe.
Okay.
And no one knew that?
Yeah, that's why now?
So, when I bought the property off the Mr. David Carlson, David, 4 years ago,
Okay.
and so after I bought it, I found out that he was living back there. I have a business in Worcester. I help a lot with the Worcester stuff during COVID. I actually built a COVID van for them to go around to minority areas to actually give COVID shots. So I understand this whole big thing. Driving through Worcester, you can see the amount of homeless people there. So I brought it up with Mr. Warren. Mr. Warren had told me Mr. Hill is harmless. He has a place to stay. Otherwise, we would throw him out. He'd be on the street. At the time, I believe 68 or 69 years old. I look at him almost like a grandfather. He didn't do anything. I think when you meet the gentleman, you wouldn't even think that he's homeless because he's took care of himself. Once I bought, and he never bothered me. And of course, I wasn't there at the property every single day. Mr. Warren is, obviously, and they can see that, you know, he's taking care of himself and he has the means. I went there prior to them showing up, probably about 3.5, 4 weeks ago. And I told Mr. Hill, I unfortunately selling this property. I can't have you here anymore because the purchaser doesn't want you to be here. I took it upon myself to call Elderly Services because I have a connection through Worcester. I took that initiative first. They came down. I guess the gentleman's name was Rich. He works through the Board of Health under Matty Castile, who I know very, very well. Yep, good people. And so they came down and then they offered him services. He can go to Queen Street right away. Literally that same day, he could have gone left, right to Queen Street to get a bed. Unfortunately, he didn't want to go. And Rich told me straight out on the phone that he doesn't blame him because that's where a lot of addicts and so forth go. In the meantime, Rich had offered, said you can go and tour a permanent housing, right, for elderly people to help you. It might be a 1 to 3 weeks before you actually get a bed, but we get the process going. So please keep it the timeline. This is about 3.5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So then he didn't want to go. I had come down and I even offered him, like, look, I'm supposed to have closing next Friday. I can put you in a hotel if you'd like to until in the meantime they find you permanent housing. He was okay with all that. I was going to put him in a hotel for a few weeks so that way he has actually a place to go. And at the time when I saw him a few weeks ago, or 3.5 weeks ago, when he found out that he had some sort of a skin cancer, and when I pulled up one day waiting for him, he actually pulled up in a red cab. So Miss Brusso was absolutely correct. He's going through a third party. He had a Grand Prix there that's been sitting on jack stands, I think for God knows how long. So I asked him, is this your vehicle? He goes, yes, it's registered and all that stuff. I said, are you using this at all? He said, no, I've been trying to fix a stabilizer arm, which is a piece on the suspension on the back. I said, why don't I do this for you when I first met him? I'll tow this to my mechanic shop. I'll fix it for you so you actually have a place, because I found out he was driving back and forth to the hospital and, of course, spending money for third party. So I towed it with my own money brought it to my shop, fixed it, and he actually picked it up last week, and he's driving around in it. Zero pay. And then on top of that, I asked him straight out, Mr. Hill, what would you like? Clearly you can't be here, right? Town Board of Health is gonna come down, the police can come, you can't be here. What would you like to do? He said to me, in front of Ms. Thorne, he wants a Class B. In case you don't know what that is, it's like a Ford Transit or like a bigger van, pretty much. They convert into like a one-bedroom house and so forth. I had also explained this to Ms. Brusso. So I offered all of this, and he has a 1925 Nash that he is storing and paying storage fees every month. I have a dealer license, so I have a mechanic shop, auto body shop, and a dealer license. I said I will gladly pick this vehicle up, bring it to my shop, put it together, put it up for sale for you, but in the meantime, I will lend you the money to buy this Class B so you're gonna be in a drivable vehicle to drive around. So that way you'll have an actual place to stay with a running toilet, running water, you can go to a campground, whatever it is that you would like to do. And then, so he considered all that, he goes, let me think about it. The following week, I spoke to Ms. Brusso, I said, please let me know when you come down there. I think it was a Friday or a Thursday on the 24th, I get a phone call from Mr. Warren saying that, hey, there's somebody here from Worcester, there's Auburn PD, and a couple people from Boardtown Health. I went down there and I spoke to her previous to that, and we agreed that she would call me so we can go down and talk together. And the answer, I said, why did you call me to tell me about this? Her words was, we don't like to tell landlords that we're coming down to speak to the tenants. And for me, it's almost a slap in the face, because Mr. Warren will tell you, this whole time, by the way, I've been trying to help him. And at that time, there was a heat wave. My attorney advised me I don't have to provide electricity, which they sent me a letter saying it's illegal, which is true. Under the Massachusetts state thing, there's no running water. He told me he poops in a bucket and throw it away in the dumpster, which is insane to me. So keep in mind, they've known about this for a week, week and a half, or 2 weeks. I offered to put him in a residency. I even offered to say, why don't I tow this RV off this property to my 179 Canterbury Street. It's a huge property with 3 or 4 commercial lots on there. I said I can hook him up, and I will give him the key to my main office, which has a shower and a toilet, and he can use that in the meantime. We went there with the police, elderly services, and Miss Brusso and Tim Platt. We're having this conversation. Mr. Hill turns his back to me and asks them, if he tells me to leave, do I have to go? Their response was, you can stay in place until there's a court order. So this to me is just so, I'm not gonna use the word, just backwards. And in the meantime, this is going on. She called me on Monday when I shut off the power, and she says to me, Miss Brusso, can you turn the power back on to him, for him? I said, doesn't make sense to me. You sent me a letter saying that I'm violating and it's illegal what I'm doing, providing this electricity to him. And you're asking me now to turn the power back on. Write in an email to tell me that per our conversation, that I can turn the power back on.
Through me?
I'm sorry, yeah. So I said to her, if she wants to send me an email to say that I can turn the power back on, I will gladly do it. I don't want to do this. Mr. Warren didn't even do it. When I got the notice on Friday, I told him to do it on Friday because he said he didn't have the heart to. But when you have a letter saying that what we're doing is illegal, what choices do I have? And so here we are right now talking about this. And I, like I said, my attorney, it was just weird that the whole place be condemned. He understood and said that the RV should be condemned. He should be taken out, which we all agree with. Like none of that we're disagreeing with. So, I mean, that's pretty much the story.
Where is this man now?
He's still there. And again, elderly services come down. Now, keep in mind, when elderly services come down, there's a certain amount of beds. As you guys know, there's a huge housing crisis, right? So I feel that I don't want to throw this guy on the street. Like, that's not, none of us want to do this. Even the purchaser said that if he leaves to go to a hotel, he'll give him $500 so he can buy groceries and all that stuff. I didn't want to do this. Matter of fact, when we first met, it was a heat wave. I did turn off the power, and then it was such a heat wave, we had the fan. I told her, excuse me, I didn't mean to look at her, I turned the power back on because he has a fan. But as Ms. Brusso has said to me multiple times, he's been dealing with this for 12 years, he should be fine. But yet, when I agreed to buy him, we'll get him a Class B RV, she said that's not a permanent housing, what's he gonna do in the wintertime? My question is, what has he done in the past 12 years in this RV that is 90% not functioning or 100% not functioning versus me putting him in a Class B where he can actually drive around, have running water, have toilet, and a proper hookup? So,
The action before the board is whether or not this RV is unfit for human habitation,
That's correct.
correct? Okay. Any of the board members have any questions regarding what we saw for pictures, the testimony about town, or the property owner?
Can I just want to say one thing on the record as well too, for my client and for this board. If you have city officials trying to regulate commercial owners on habitability issues, that's a problem in itself. I just want to state that for the record. Whereas they have no place to state to commercial property owners about residential people or residential property. So again, and I spoke to this woman as well. So I just want to state that on the record that's a problem in itself.
because she told me that I have to pay for his housing.
No, I was just gonna say, well, I respectfully disagree with that. I mean, I don't think I think commercial people do have a responsibility not to allow people to live on their property. And I'm not saying that against you, I'm just as a general rule.
Yes, yes.
Because
I fully agree with you.
as a
Like,
general
yes.
rule, that I just disagree with that. My question,
She's not, Mr. Scarpelli, she's not done.
I just wanted to ask the board, so assuming that we, we say that this is unfit for human habitation, I agree, if I were in their position, it would be difficult for me to say, like, they're not gonna be physically responsible to take him out of the trailer, so how does he literally get out? And I'm saying this because I do deal with patients who, like, prefer to not leave their homes, or they live in the woods and things like that, so I understand sometimes what happens with people like that. So what is their response, like, what happens in that situation?
Sure. I mean, there's several things that I would just like to offer. I appreciate what Mr. Lee has offered in his opinion of what has transpired in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Respectfully, I understand he has made offers to the occupant. He has had conversations with Ms. Brusso and Mr. Pratt. Respectfully, he contacted us. So this is a situation that he has known about since he purchased the property, and obviously Mr. Hill, the occupant, has been there for a long time. So if the owner was not taking action until now and is willing to say that the Board of Health is not moving fast enough, I mean, respectfully, we would not be responding to this. We didn't know there's residential housing going on at a commercial business. And to Jarrett, I understand what you're saying, or your opinion that you want on the record, but again, we don't want to be at your client's commercial property handling a illegal housing concern. So had you and your client not taken care of that, we wouldn't be involved. So, at this point, we're bringing it to the board because obviously a very unique situation for us. We do understand concerns happen with property owners and occupants. We are familiar with the housing code, and we have a lot of situations. This one is unique in the fact I haven't been called to a commercial property to deal with something like this. And then, understanding that there's a whole bunch of, RVs. We just want to be clear that we don't want housing allowed in any of them. And we were called for this particular RV. We just want to make it clear that we don't want that going on at this type of business. We wouldn't have any need. I mean, I've driven by Timbuktu hundreds of times. It never occurred to me that there would be people living in these RVs. I think you sell RVs, you repair RVs. I mean, you have a success.
We don't allow people to live in them.
Right, but obvious,
With one exception.
but a 12-year exception, sir. So, I mean, it really is, at this point,
Hold on.
at this point, we have to see how the board, what your appetite is for what our recommendation is, but also like what happens once you make that call. So Jordan and I have spent a good amount of time trying to figure that out. We would issue an order from whatever the board decides. So this initial order is identifying the serious concerns and the immediate health concerns that exist right now. We would have to issue an order to the owner for basically your property, the RV has been declared unfit for human habitation. The occupant needs to be removed. It needs to be secured, the RV, and we do recognize that that this occupant not being there, the owner would have to put this person up or find some other form of housing for the occupant.
I'm going to interrupt you right there. That's completely false. That's completely and utterly false. Okay? My client on a commercial property does not have to put somebody up. So do not put that on the record. That is completely and utterly false on your part.
All right, sir,
That's the same thing
this is the chair speaking,
That's
sir.
false.
I'm going
That's
to,
false.
listen, whether it's false or not, we are here
But don't
tonight to
say that.
determine,
Don't have that in the meeting. Do not have that in the meeting record. That is false.
it's already part of the meeting record, it was already stated, I can't go back and read, it's already been stated.
So I'm just saying that's false. And she should not be saying that as a government official when she does not know the law.
Well, it's, again, if we are here to determine the order in hand, whether or not there is an unsanitary condition located in this RV at 5 Jerome Ave. I don't want to get into the weeds. Let me finish. I don't want to get into the weeds with this. That is the order that is before the board, and that is what we will decide this evening. There was a process that was initiated by your client. Our board, our director and their staff had gone on their usual and customary practice on these types of complaints, and there's nothing that I'm seeing here that is abnormal in terms of unfit for human habitation. We've done these before. This order is similar to what I've seen before. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary as far as that goes. So again, I want to just remind the parties that we're not getting into the weeds as far as who's doing what, when, where, how. Is this unfit or not? And then we'll take it to the next step. And sir, you're an attorney. You know of other avenues that you have as well. And again, I don't know what those are, but you're at liberty to use them as well. But I'm not going to discuss all of that stuff this evening. I want us to focus on the order that is at hand and move on from there.
I appreciate that explanation because the objective at my client for finding suitable housing is completely and utterly irrelevant in the situation.
All right. Any of the board members have any questions, concerns before we?
I guess for me, who owns the van?
He does. So he's squatting in a private property on my private property.
So
It's his RV.
that's his,
Correct.
And
right?
he's using your land to,
Correct. So
live
technically,
there.
under commercial law, it's a squatter on his private property, on my private property. So this has not been residential. Matter of fact, Ms. Russo has said to me that this should be under Worcester Housing Court. It's going to be under district court, which is commercial. My attorney has even advised me if this was residential, all that would hold true. There would be a myriad of rights that the tenant have. But because this is a commercial property, it's a totally different ballgame. And again, my question, which I guess you're not going to discuss tonight, is you are going to do the condemning, which we all agree with. He agree with, I agree with, my attorney agree with, just on the record. What happens afterwards now is another thing, because if you're going to do this, most likely tomorrow, you're going to go there with Auburn PD or whatever it is to condemn this RV or 5 Jerome Ave, I guess, or what it's going to be. And then he has to leave. That's the next piece of thing. I already advised my attorney on what's going on. I feel good about that. Whatever happens afterwards, I don't think the board have the right to tell me what I need to do for him thereafter. Again, on the record, none of us are disagreeing with what probably is going to happen, which is everyone's going to agree this should be condemned, which, yeah.
So I think that we're putting the cart before the horse here. We're talking about the condemnation of the property, the RV on the property tonight. I don't know what's going to happen after this. I don't know. So I don't think that we should be getting spun up as to the what if and what's coming down when we don't know what's going to happen.
I agree with you, Chair, but what I'm asking is this. You're going to vote tonight, and we probably see that it's going to happen. The next morning, or right away, he needs to be off that RV, correct?
Hold on, I'm not familiar with that. What is the next step as far as after this goes? Like what happens next?
So what essentially would happen if the board does want to move in this direction, we would follow what the process that we normally do. So we would go to the property, we would placard the dwelling, identifying that it's unfit, and we would issue an order to the owner, as you have seen, that the occupant needs to be removed. The responsibility of that can be put in the order, and the place needs to be secured. And from there, if that does not happen, then we follow our normal process for if somebody is violating a housing order, then it follows the court process.
Okay. So there is a process in place as
There
well.
is, yes.
So you guys are going to condemn it.
I haven't voted yet.
No, I understand. I'm just hypothetically speaking. You guys are going to condemn it.
Mhm.
I'm going to get a same order that you're condemning it, which I agree with. And just to clarify, the occupant, Mr. Thomas Hill, could not be in that RV.
So if I can point to, so in the code, this is identified in the housing code, so 410-900, condemnation, placarding, and vacating residence. It identifies in this, which we believe that this is where it would be, when a residence or portion thereof has been condemned and placarded as unfit for human habitation, and the occupant of a condemned dwelling unit or room unit is not the owner of the residence, the owner shall provide comparable, suitable housing for the occupant for the following time period, or whatever is the shortest. So then they have, number 1, the remaining term of the lease or rental period.
Yeah, because
Number 2,
Let her finish, please. And I just want to remind those sitting is
Yeah.
nonverbal cues from me. I don't want hands
I'm
being
sorry,
thrown up.
fair enough.
All that other stuff.
Sure.
Number 2, such time as the residence is deemed suitable for habitation by the Board of Health. And number 3, such time as the occupant finds alternative permanent housing and voluntarily terminates tenancy. So that is what the next process that we believe would be following the board's determination. And obviously, it identifies there what the next steps would be.
And that is our usual and customary process from what I'm getting at. That's typically, I believe that's how we've done these in the past.
Yeah, so we have every housing order is a little bit different, different circumstances. I mean, I think, the board has heard these types of orders before. They're all unique in the fact that they're different circumstances. However, we are typically working with some sort of owner that has lost some sort of utilities or it's unsafe environment. The dwelling unit is, if the occupant stays in the dwelling unit, there's an immediate concern for loss of life. I can tell you that this is one of the most difficult situations that boards of health have to review and determine. Jordan and I take this very seriously. The amount of time that we have put into this is a reflection of how concerned we are and how serious of a situation it is. Obviously, an elderly resident in a RV temporary camper that has been there for a long period of time that came to our awareness from the property owner less than 3 weeks ago. A lot has happened, we have done a lot, and we believe that it's important enough to bring to the board so that you can also be able to ask us questions about the situation that we're seeing as extremely important, a matter of life or death.
I have a question. Has he ever paid rent at all?
Zero. He has paid zero rent. There is no lease. So what she's talking about is 100% true under residential code. That is the difference. This is commercial. It is a totally different thing. And so it's just a squatter squatting on private property, which is commercial, which is what it is. And again, I made every attempt to try to go and try to make that, I'm not going in circles about this, just try to make attempt to go,
And again, I am not an attorney. None of us here are attorneys.
Absolutely,
We do
yes.
have one on,
Yes.
and we can't have him opine for us.
No, I
I
understand.
am not going to deliberate the legitimacy of housing zoning and all that.
Mr. Otterson, I will tell you, I've never stepped 1 foot in a courtroom, but he has plenty of time, including the last couple of months. So he knows all about this. I don't, I can only go by his guidance. You can only do what you need to do.
Exactly.
The only question that still is up in the air about is what do we do tomorrow with him? After you take the vote.
And that'll be something that you'll
Sure.
work out with the director and assistant director and et
Absolutely.
cetera.
No. I just want to say on the record that once the order is made, then I will talk to you about that, but there will be no residential housing on your behalf. You should probably take a look at that bylaw, and every quote that was just read pertains to residential zoned property.
Well,
This is a commercial property.
So, respectfully, it's the housing code.
Yeah, so she's reading directly from the housing code. And again, I think that I don't want to get into the arguing,
Okay, yeah, we don't.
Correct.
Trying to do-
Oh, no, you just answered my question. That's all I wanted to hear, exactly what you just said.
Okay, remind me what I said, I'm sorry. The housing code?
She's reading from the housing code.
Okay,
Housing code.
okay, perfect. Any board members have any other concerns, questions, anything like that? Is there any motion for a vote on the matter for unfit for habitation, the RV located at 5 Jerome Ave?
I make a motion to deem the RV uninhabitable for human conditions. Human habitation.
Is there a second?
I second the motion to deem the RV unfit for human habitation, and that is located at 5 Jerome Ave.
There is a motion and there is a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin,
Aye.
Eric Otterson, aye. The motion is supported and RV fit to be unfit. So there is the order. Order's been voted on, and is there anything else regarding this in the hearing? We can close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing for review of sanitary conditions for unfit for human habitation of the RV at 5 Jerome Ave.
Second that.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin,
Aye.
Eric Otterson, aye. Hearing is now closed. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on with the, and just Mr. Attorney Scarpese. Yeah.
Hello?
I was just gonna tell those clients that, no. it's all right. Okay. And then I think we have, regional appointments, Region 2 Public Health appointments.
Yes, thank you so much. So each year, we bring you the updated letter. For Region 2, it requires the board to take a vote as to us representing the board at the Regional Public Health
Sure. Where do I sign?
Public Health Coalition. So if the board is open to taking a vote, do we have that?
Yes.
Oh,
There
hold on, I
is a
actually
statement
have-
on the back of your packets.
In your packets, if you can just, if you can give me the wording.
All right, so I'd entertain a motion to appoint Darlene Coyle, Jordan Brusso, and Tim Pratt as Auburn's representative to the Region 2 Public Health Emergency Preparedness Coalition. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Eric Otterson, aye. Carolyn Griffin,
Aye.
Kara Westerman.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. That's helpful. And then we have the nurses report.
Sure, Megan.
Thank you.
I'm not seeing any chicken. What is that chicken?
Got one.
Yeah. I know.
Any board members have any other concerns, questions, nothing? Okay. I would entertain,
I'm sorry, if I could just take
Sure.
a moment. I would like to formally introduce Roxana
sorry.
Kennedy.
sorry.
So Roxana Kennedy has joined us a couple weeks ago, and she has been a wonderful addition. She is our new full-time DDIS clerk. She has already done so much. So we'd like to recognize her and welcome her, and we are so thrilled to have her.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
And I'd also like to just recognize Jordan. Jordan has done a really unbelievable job with a lot on our health
Thank you
department.
for all you do.
Yes, I
Thank you for
know.
all both of you do
I
to keep our
know,
town
I
healthy
know.
and safe.
Thank you. Jordan's rocking it.
Never a doubt. Awesome. Anything further?
No?
Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn today's meeting of August 6, 2023.
And is there a second? And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin,
Aye.
Eric Otterson, aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
So much.